So I have too many fabric scraps, as evidenced by this. It weighs like 20 pounds and it is all of my fabric scraps from probably the last 2 years. So I am going to make myself a presser sleeve to go with my tailor's ham. Gonna make it out of this fabric to match the ham, and it is like boiling hot in here, so I'm gonna sweat and die while I do it. And we're gonna do this in one day. Make that an hour. Let's go. Okay, so I'm going to first measure the smallest point of my arm. The smallest point of any sleeve is ever gonna be about 8 inches, so we're gonna do 8 inches, and I think that if it's any longer than 18 inches, it'll probably drive me crazy. So what I need is 8 inches circumference and then 18 inches long. So we're gonna do 8 plus inch and a quarter for the seam allowance. So this is going to be 9.25 by 19.25. I'm going to make a tube out of muslin first, and then I'm going to cut the same thing out of my outer fabric, and then basically shove a bunch of stuffing into it. So first I measured out my 9.25 by 19.25 inch rectangle on a piece of muslin. Unfortunately, I didn't have one in my scrap bin that was big enough, so I had to get a fresh piece out, but it's fine because I will definitely use the rest of this piece. And then I cut it out. And then I got out a scrap of my fabric that I used for my ham. No, I did not iron it. I just could not be bothered for this particular project. And then I used the grid because it's a houndstooth check. I used the grid on it to cut out my rectangle of that to basically match the piece of muslin. Okay, so I have the outside fabric cut out. I have the inside fabric for like the thing that's actually getting stuff cut out. It has been 26 minutes since I started filming and started working on this, so I'm gonna see if I can get this done by 4 p.m. Wish me luck. And I sewed the end and side of the fabric together for the outer piece and flipped ends out. God, I wish I could actually flip it that quickly. And then I pinned the muslin one together at the end and the side just the same way, and promptly made a sacrifice to the sewing gods by stabbing myself. And then sewed that together. Okay, time to stuff the tube. I pulled out all of the natural fiber scraps from my bin that were too small to use for anything else. I did not cut these up like I did with the tailor's ham because that just took way too long. Once I had a pile that I figured would be big enough, basically take the first pile that you make and then double it and stuffed my tube. It did end up being just about enough. I had to add a couple extra scraps. You want to make sure that you stuff a tailor's ham or a sleeve roll like this like as tightly as you can, because you want it to be really firm so that when you press down with an iron it doesn't compress really at all. So once you think you're done with stuffing it, stuff like another pile worth in there. And then I stitched the end of it closed. I did this really messy because no one's ever gonna see it. It's gonna go into the outer tube. And then I shoved it into the outer tube. Once again, wish I could have done it that quickly in real life. Then I doubled up some thread and stitched the end closed. I went all the way down one way, and then once I finished that, I went back over my first row of stitches just to really make sure it was on there all the way. And then tied a knot and hid my thread ends, and I was done. And I came in at 1 hour and 4 minutes, which I'm gonna call pretty dang good. Now I have a matching sleeve roll to go with my tailor's ham. Thanks for watching.